Hey, welcome everybody to the Sunday Show, the show that has a shitty name because, well, I couldn't think of anything better. So, we're going to have a short one today because I think Richard here is going to have one of his little shows or programs on the YouTube, the Great Debate Community YouTube page in about an hour or two. So, I don't want to have this very long, but this is going to be about haters hating or haters going to hate. Not just specifically about the hate that I've gotten for having Von Helton on the other day, but across the board in the YouTube communities that I've seen. I've seen it with recently with Jacqueline Glenn. She's been very sick lately, and people have been sending her things like "God smiting you for being atheist," and "You deserve to be sick because you're an atheist," and all that kind of shit. So this is going to be a Sunday show to talk a little bit about, why people go out of the way to be dicks, why people go out of their way to be assholes, why people want to hate rather than just be a part of what's going on in either the hangout or the topic. So, anyways, as you guys know, yesterday I had Von Helton on, and I made it very clear that the only way to get him on was make certain concessions. I told everybody in advance, he will have mods. He will be in charge of the hangout. It's not a hangout to just sit there and dogpile on him. People have been doing that for years. I understand the reasons why. I think that he's earned all the quote-unquote hate that he gets as far as, people being worried about his family and the issues that he puts forth. He puts himself out there. I get that, right? I don't defend him on any of that. However, last night was a hangout just just to get the Geek Room and him together as a favor to the Geek Room. This was something they asked me specifically to do. Steve, will you help us with this? And I said, sure. I know Von Helton, and we go back, and we usually have a decent rapport with each other. And I sat there for many hours corresponding with him, actually days, back and forth to make this happen. Because as Von Helton said, he basically told me to fuck off the first time I asked him. He said, no, I know how it's going to turn out. I've been there. What do you think? I'm an idiot, Steve? And I said, look, I don't know what the Geek Room really wants to talk to you about. They haven't really been specific with me, but generally speaking, they just want to talk to you. And I arranged it. And people are still complaining, well, Von Helton got off easy, blah, blah, blah. Look, we've had hangouts with Von Helton before. People have talked to Von Helton before. Nothing new about that. We wanted something different where there's an actual dialogue going on rather than just a shit fest. And I think it actually worked out pretty well. I mean, he stuck around for 4 hours. So I think that the way I went about it worked out pretty well, because if not, then we wouldn't even have a hangout, right? Heavy Holler says I sound like I'm in a box. Really? I just fixed all my mic stuff. You guys can hear me pretty good in here, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're sounding still fine to me.
So it might be just be Heavy Holler. I don't know. Can help? Okay. Well, Eric says I'm in a closet, but he could mean I'm gay. I don't know. He says, Steve, get out of the closet. I don't know if that's my mic or that was a sexual reference. Really? So, well, you know what? All right, I'll try to work on this, my mic. But we have people in here that can probably join in the conversation here. Christina, you've been kind of critical about Von Helton and my hangout.
I'm more critical about some of the stuff that he said. I'm one of those that I'm probably more of a naysayer right now. I'd love to be able to try and rekindle a friendship with the man, but he has lied so much. And some of the things that he has done on his own hangouts, including to his own mother, and I know he was only going to come on if he had mod control. I understand that, but he really wasn't letting anybody voice anything to him. And
but you're only going to get so much out of him, right? I mean, by the way, I changed my mic thing, so let me know it's better.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I mean, I'm kind of at a crossroads about the whole thing, and I just, I'm angry with the man. I have to admit, I don't hate him. I'm just angry at him, and it's because of some of the things he's admitted to doing in the recent month or two.
No, I totally understand that. I mean, let's be honest. He's not a well-respected person. Yeah, I mean, he's done a lot of shit things.
Steve, the sound that we are getting from you sounds fine, but the sound that the people in the live chat are getting is, it's reversed.
Yeah, that's strange.
You're good here, but like they're
okay. No, they say much better. I changed one of my settings on the OBS. For some reason, every so often, it defaults back to my mic on the webcam, and so I have to manually change it not only on Windows, but I have to do it in OBS. So I've just changed that back. So if it should sound better now, I should be on my actual main mic. Dialuser says better. So okay, so Christina, yeah, no, I agree with you, right? Von Helton knows I'm not a fan of his, right? He knows that I have my issues with him. We used to go back and forth for a long time in various rooms. And by the way, that scraping is going to drive me nuts. I love you though. You know I love you.
I'll put the needle down.
Okay. I'll put the needle down. That sounds so bad on.
Yeah, it's one of these nice 4-inch barbed needles. Yeah. I'm working on my dragon. No, like I said, I enjoyed talking to the man. We've had some good conversations over the last couple of years since I had met him and stuff, but it's just, you know, until this whole thing can be resolved and he realizes that he has brought a lot of this onto himself and that he's still doing so, I just can't.
He won't ever realize this. I mean, he's not going to realize this. I mean, let's be honest. We all realize that he has issues, right? I mean, I don't know whatever disorder he has that's compulsive lying, but I mean, if you look at all his things that he's said over the years, there's so many things that he's said. You look at him and go, yeah, we just know that's outright lie. Okay, it's just wrong. But in his mind's eye, he actually probably believes this stuff. He has convinced himself this stuff is true. So to him, it's not it's not a lie.
Yeah.
I don't think he actually thinks he's lying. So he can't. He's not self-aware of that, right? Yeah, I love. Right. You don't seem to realize what you just said. You said I'm going to put the needle down, and you're working on your dragon. Now, I don't know. You're so adorable, Christina. You don't realize that that's a heroin thing. When you ride the dragon, you're doing heroin.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Yeah. I have a dragon right here.
So you're putting the needle down and you're working on your dragon, which basically means that you're doing heroin.
Wait, did we talk about that last night? Because I remember.
So speaking of needles, speaking of needles,
there was
right?
a heroin reference last night. There was a lot of heroin references last night.
Okay, I thought
you're talking about heroin and you're holding a needle. We need to discuss something.
Yeah.
Well, if you enlarge my screen, you can see I've got a really sharp needle here. And
your screen auto enlarges.
Okay, good. And here's what I've been doing with said needle.
No, that's good. That's impressive.
So this is
I just want to clarify.
Yes, I'm working on my dragon.
Yeah, I'm just clarifying that's not what she meant, people, by working on her dragon and putting down the needle. She's not a heroin addict. She only does it recreationally. Yeah, she only does it recreationally.
What's funny about that was
on the weekends.
The dragon thing was supposed to be a clarification, like to clear up the whole drug thing, but it just enhanced it. So.
It made it worse, right? That's the funny thing. Yeah.
Dragon force.
I'm putting down the needle because I was just working on my dragon. That's all.
Yeah, I did not know that. Oh my God! Well, you know, for being an RN and being almost 50, I am so naive about things.
It's called riding the dragon. Even I knew that.
Even I knew that.
Yeah, well, dude, I'm like the only one here that doesn't do pot even. So whatever, right?
I mean, even I knew that, but that's probably because my dad's a cop.
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. No, that's yeah.
Well, no, I knew it was innocuous. I understood that. I mean, I'm not accusing you of being a drug addict. It was kind of funny because other people in the live chat, like Paula Gia, noticed it too. So Paula Gia knows what that means. We figured that out.
Hi, Paul.
Paul's working on his dragon.
Paul's working on his dragon. It's okay, man. You know, for the shit that he's gotten through, I think he's probably, has worked on that dragon a few times.
Listening to Eric Hovind,
Dr. Eric Ten Comfort. I knew dragons coexisted with humans.
That's what the problem is, Paul. That's the problem with your series, Paul. They're not talking about literal dragons.
Speaking of which, did you guys? We're gonna go off top. We're gonna go off topic for a second. Did you guys watch the limited?
Yeah, just a second, dear. Let me cut my camera here.
Okay.
If I can figure out how. Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry, guys.
All right. So, did you guys watch the? Okay, let me give you a backstory on this. Ken Hovind's secretary had messaged me saying that Maria, the person that organized this event up in San Jose, needed somebody to go debate Ken Hovind because they couldn't find anybody because all the PhDs they asked were saying that he was not qualified to have a debate with him anymore. I mean, they were done with it because they realized he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. So none of them would do it. So they're asking other people, right? They wanted people from the great debate community. And I put it out to the great debate community. Anybody wants to fly up to San Jose. I don't know what the forum is. Coming to find out, the forum was just a dance studio that they had put chairs in. That's all they could get. That's all they could get, right? But they had. That's the best they could do. And I found out that Maria had wanted to ask me if I wanted to go up there and debate him face to face, and I'm like, no, I don't have the funds, and nor would I do that. I don't see any reason why we can't have discussions on G+, but I'm sure the hell not flying up to San Francisco just to do a little thing in a dance studio. Not my thing, right? Well, anyways, they got Maria's business partner to debate him, and clearly he didn't know anything about anything. This wasn't his area to do any discussions with. And Kent just did his usual shtick where, I will pay to have your coccyx removed if you think it's vestigial. That kind of nonsense, right? It was comical. It was done on a cell phone, kind of like Tony's. It was just this vertical thing.
What's up?
It was actually. I started off being like this vertical slant like that, and then they kind of made it horizontal. The audio was horrible. The venue was ridiculous. It was so bad that only 6 people were watching this live. It was 5 people.
Steve, it's him. It's Kent.
Yeah,
he's got no money.
It was 5 people from the great debate community, and whoever was filming it. That was it. It was nobody else was watching this particular video, live stream, and then they privatized it. So I don't even know if it's going to go up.
Which one?
Well, there was 3, right?
Actually, I think the reason for that is that I've seen on Ken Hovind's channel, a lot of his audience members are saying, "Why are you having these debates with random people on YouTube? You should be doing like the old days and going in front of universities with professors."
Universities won't have him any longer.
Yeah. But I think that's what initiated his audience complaining.
You might be right, but I think it's even more than that. This is hypothetical, and I'm only throwing this out there because I don't know. I really have no firsthand knowledge of this, but from past experience that I've seen with Kent, I think he flew up there probably just to see Marie, and then use this whole thing as a cover. Because the body language between them was the same body language that he had with Mary, and I even said before he and Mary got together, or were married, that there was something going on, and I knew that he knew her prior to him going to jail. I knew you could look at them and say that there's something there. The way they're looking at each other, the eyes, the contact. I know the story.
I don't know. Maybe that's just the way he is with people.
No. He's dude. Just trust me on this. There was. If you go look at the older hangouts that he had with Mary. There was flirting going on.
Can I ask who would lay down with what looks like a rotting beanbag?
Oh, don't say that.
Okay, I'm sorry, Kent. We love you.
You talking about Mary? Or you're talking about Kent?
Oh,
no, I'm just kidding. Mary's not unattractive. But no, I mean, I could tell there was something seemed to be between them. And again, I'm not judging. I don't care. But it wouldn't surprise me if he's working on number 3, right? People are asking who Marie. Marie was the one that made the arrangements for him to fly up there to have the event in that dance hall, that venue. She's known as Juzz Glorious, not Jizz Glorious, Juzz Glorious, Juzz. I have emailed her, but she hasn't got back to me. Somebody else tried to get in touch to her too, or get in touch with her and talk to her about Kent, and she didn't seem too willing. So I think she's one of those Hovinites that just doesn't want to hear the truth. So, but we did get Kent to actually say on air that nothing he taught was accredited, and that was a big step. I think that was amazing. In the last debate that he had,
a little bit for me.
in the last debate he had with Negation of P, he was talking about teaching, that he taught science, and I wanted to clarify specifically with him what he meant by that. And he said that that he had not had any course, didn't teach any courses. He didn't have any accreditations for teaching. So I said, so somebody, went to, to take your courses or whatever, your creation seminar is not accredited. They couldn't go on the transcript or anything like that. You didn't have any courses you taught over a semester. No. So, when he taught.
So he lied about teaching.
Well, we've known that. I mean, it's not a big secret. But I wanted, yeah. I mean, he's told me that before. I wanted to get it on air again. I wanted to people to realize that. Look, when you say that Hovind has taught science, you're wrong. He has never taught science. He taught creation science, and he wasn't a teacher in any public school. He was in a churches, like Baptist churches, in a little foyer room, or whatever the hell you want to call it, a little back room, where he basically had students that were of high school age that he was teaching. And in his mind's eye, he's going to call that teaching science.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
I've got a question about this. Doesn't it feel kind of like beating a dead horse? Because even among Christians, like a lot of Christian communities, Ken Hovind is just totally in disrepute. He has a few diehard fans, but among a lot of people, they just don't respect him because of his prison sentence and the content he produces. So I don't know. Sometimes it feels like all the debates and all the exposing him is beating a dead horse, because like you said, all of this has been out there before.
He's falling. Yeah, he's falling away from the rest of the Christians. I get that, but he still has enough where people are supporting him to fund his Dinosaur Adventureland, which is not even exaggerating, a cult compound. I mean, he actually, from what I understand, would not let Mary leave the compound, and she actually had to call the police in order to get out of there. I mean, he has every when you talk about a cult leader,
are you sure?
Yeah, I think he's a cult leader.
Are you sure that's true? Because that doesn't sound true.
Well, no, I don't. I don't know that for an absolute fact. I've just heard that. That's rumor. I want to emphasize that's complete rumor. So I'm not stating that as fact. I don't want any slander or libel or whatever. But yeah, but
I actually agree a lot with what Richard said, because I totally understand that the great debate community must have debates, but I wouldn't call a debate about evolution a real debate, because evolution is a done deal to me. But we are, of course, Hovind has some hardcore fans here among young Earth creationists, but we are actually talking about a guy who denies the geological column and the fossil record, just like flat earthers deny gravity. I mean, the guy is nuts.
Right.
To me.
But here's the thing. I believe that if you don't nip these things in the bud, they fester. And I think Kent will make a comeback, just like Peter Popoff did. I mean, look at Peter Popoff. He got busted on live video, right? I mean, there was no way anybody could look at this and saying that he was not completely caught red-handed lying, because he was claiming he was talking to God, but he had a wireless, thing in his ear. He was talking to his wife, all on video. We've all seen the video. So he has come back, and he still has people that buy into his bullshit, because you're always going to have some percentage of society that are just too stupid to not learn that these people are just they're frauds. They won't recognize it because they want to believe so much. They want to believe these people are religious icons and religious leaders. They're not going to accept it.
I don't know. I think he's totally lost his charisma. Like, if you look at his YouTube channel, like, he has kids singing in the first 2 minutes, and then it's just like him just talking. He's got a television behind him, and he can never figure out how to work anything. So I think a lot of his charisma comes from the university setting where he's in these debates. So unless he can get that back, I don't know that he could make a comeback, because
you make a good point.
He just doesn't have.
Who was that Asian woman that was with him?
Well, that was Marie.
Asian woman was hot. That's for sure.
That's Marie.
Yeah,
that's Marie. That's the one we were talking about. But you make a good. Yeah, that's what I've been corresponding with. But okay. She's the one that wanted me to fly up there to debate him.
Oh, yeah.
But Richard, you make a very.
I think. But if it were the case that like a university professor said, "All right, I'll debate Ken Hovind at our university," then that would be a big deal, and that could actually help.
Yeah, and I've recommended against that. Let me clarify, because I think, Richard, you hit a really good point.
Yeah.
these professors in these universities don't want to debate him anymore, and he's using this to his advantage, saying, "Oh well, look, they're all scared of him, right?" Because that's in his delusional mind, and a lot of his followers actually buy into that, right? They actually think, "Oh, look at this, they're too scared." G-Man does it, right? "Oh, look at Ken Hovind, he's taken on 3 professors and schooled them all." Right? But his bloviating isn't reality. We all know that Ken has never got the best of any professor as far as actual evidence. Now, has he won some debates? Sure. If you look at it as you know, he was able to shotgun Gish Gallop and do all that. And professors back then didn't have the internet. They didn't know a lot of his arguments. Now it's all out there. So yeah, they don't bother. And I think you're right. When he's sitting there in front of his TV with his grandkids or the kids that go up there to see him, which by the way looks so cultish it's not even funny. It is not the same legitimacy.
I know, those are his workers, I think.
It's scary. It is scary.
He's got a sweatshop there.
But it is not the same legitimacy as being at Harvard having a debate with somebody, correct? Or some other prestigious school. That gives somebody legitimacy. And I don't think that that's what they want to give him. And I don't blame him for that. This is why I even said it to PZ Myers, PZ, you know, I'll respect your decision, but you know that Hovind wants to debate you. I am highly recommending against that. And PZ's like, yeah, I wouldn't even bother.
Right? They don't debate him because he lacks any credibility anymore. Everything he says is just so off the wall.
Right,
guys.
Well, you can actually be a pretty good debater without having any points, and I think
William Lane Craig
is one of those people. I mean, he can make jokes about, "Oh, my mic doesn't work. Let's evolution solve this problem." And you know, his young Earth creationist friends laugh their ass off. But when we are actually talking about scientific points, he has none. He still regurgitate that every farmer depends on a cow giving birth to a cow. So I mean, if he was to debate people, they have to teach him evolution before they can actually have a debate.
Well, but that's not going to happen.
A cow giving birth to a cow. Has he seen what the original cows looked like?
Guys, I invited Neil deGrasse Tyson to debate me, but he was afraid, so didn't happen.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I sent him a tweet, and Neil deGrasse Tyson said, "No, you were too much for me, Steve. I don't want to debate you." Yeah, right.
Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson gives a shit anymore.
But
Ken Hovind has their fans. I mean, G-Man says the same thing. Have you ever seen a dog giving birth to a non-dog? I mean, Veckel says my parents wasn't a fish. So I mean, he has impact because actually.
But these are just mantras. These are just tropes that people have thrown out there, right? I mean, I think a lot of them do understand that that's just complete bullshit. They don't care, right? I think by now Kent may or may not understand it. I really, at this point, don't know. But I do know one thing. He doesn't care either way.
I doubt it very much.
Yeah. But if I was ever to debate Kent, and more than just what I had before a couple of years ago when I was interacting with him and I explained to him the whole dog non-dog thing, I am so much more prepared now that I know his arguments before he even gives it. I could do his whole shtick if I had to, right? I mean, there's nothing new under the sun. another hangout, except for that he's added the Green Mile.
If you do that, I'm going to pull it off YouTube and repost it.
I'll tell you what. I'll be Kent, and you be Richard, and we'll do a fake debate. No, I mean I do know his arguments, and I to get slides kind of like Bill did in preparation of his argument, saying, look, here's how dogs always have dogs, and yet dogs came from wolves, and dogs will always be wolves. Therefore, everything that dogs have will still be dogs. It's nested. It's a nested hierarchy. I wouldn't be that hard to make a little, video like that or presentation, and then some of the other things he talks about, like the vestigial organs. He's always talking about how vestigial means non-functional. And of course, that's not what vestigial means. It just means the function has changed. And so we could point all these things out, but it's not really to change his mind, right? It's to change the minds of the people listening. And we've had an effect. Listen, people, don't think that we haven't. There are people that have left young Earth creationism because of the Great Debate community, and more importantly, prior to the Great Debate community, people that have been the pioneers of this kind of stuff. Look at like the Living Dinosaur or Pothole at 54 or Cool Hard Logic, any of those guys. These guys were doing an amazing job of presenting the actual evidence. And there are people that left Young Earth Creationism after they explored it, and they said, "Let me look into this and see if this stuff is real."
The Living Dinosaur, fossil of YouTube.
He's back, by the way, and he might drop in one of these days. FYI, he asked me what it meant to drop in at our Hangout. He's been out of the loop for a while, and I told him, things nowadays are all on Hangouts. So I'm going to try to get him into our Hangout one of these days. Would that be cool? By the way, it's not a big secret. Do you guys know his background? It's not doxing because it's actually out there. What do you think his background is?
Oh God, wasn't it? Was he the one that was into video production, television production, or something like that?
That's Potholer.
Okay.
Yeah. Now the Living Dinosaur is actually a biochemist. He has a PhD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he's actually a biochemist.
Potholer was okay. I thought it was a worked on a paper as sort of a journalist. On,
yeah,
on science.
He's a journalist. Pothole is a journalist. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, like I said, I correspond a little bit with Fake on the Living Dinosaur on Casey's page the other day, and so I was he was really interested in this. It seemed like so.
Casey did a really good job about the distant starlight, but when Ken Hovind went beating around the bush and sort of never answered the question, which inevitably leads to an old Earth and an older universe, he sort of dropped the subject. He never got him to answer that one. He should have stayed on topic there. So there's no way Ken Hovind can get around that.
Sorry for interrupting, but I got to go to church. Yay.
Enjoy.
Thank you for tolerating me.
No problem.
I have to go to church. You get to eat tonight. Bye.
I have to go to church so my parents can feed me. That sounds odd.
Pray for me.
Yeah, we'll pray for you.
I
think
what you meant.
What, Richard?
Oh, never mind.
I think KC knew that he could have pushed that a little bit more. I think he's going to push it a lot harder on the third one. Casey had that wonderful video that he put out the other day. He put in Paula Gia's wonderful trailer that he made. He put a great shout out to the Great Debate community, a huge shout out to my channel and to Paula Gia's and to some other channels. If you guys haven't seen it, it's really good. The problem that we're having with YouTube is that YouTube is not notifying people of these videos. I didn't even get a notification.
No, they're not.
Yeah, I don't get it. I didn't even get a notification of Casey's video. The only reason I knew about it is because I happened to be on his G+, and so when he put it on his G+, then I got notified of it. No, I didn't even get notified. I actually saw it. I just saw it.
I was actually unbelled from Cosmic Skeptic, somebody I've been following since, for 3 years at this point now.
I got unsubbed from Aaron Raw again for the 5th time this last week.
Yeah, Aaron Raw is a big one. They keep unsubbing most of
Weird.
Yeah.
Really?
Aaron Raw, you don't get to find out when he puts out something new. And some of his stuff is just totally facetious.
Did you see what happened with Aaron the other day? It was hilarious. Aaron had this thing. It was 3 o'clock in the fucking morning Pacific time. And he had this theist that for some reason he was going to have a dialogue with. I have no idea who this theist was. He was very unprepared, didn't really have a clue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it was funny because we were on the live chat just chatting away, right? Most of the GDC was in there. We were just chatting away. A lot of the GDC were there. And we were figuring out that he wasn't watching the live chat. Okay, great. No big deal. He's just paying attention to what he's doing to his guest. And then the guest says, hey, before you make this live or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Aaron goes, well,
that was just funny.
Aaron goes, well, I have this on unlisted. I haven't made it public yet. And we're like in the live chat. No, Aaron, it's public. Aaron is public. And he's like, let me see something here. And he goes into his creator studio settings and sees all the live chat going, it's public. And he's like, oh shit. 1,000 people have already watched this. That sucks.
Yeah, I remember that. That was just funny.
Oh, God, that's hilarious.
He's still doing
Wasn't that guy... Sorry. I was wondering, wasn't that guy one that he had met on the street and got him online? Wasn't that from one of his street epistemology ones?
It's possible. I think you're probably
Randy
right.
Nelson? Is that the same kid, Randy?
I don't know the guy's name. No, I don't think that was his name. But
I don't know.
But it was funny because he had no idea it was live. It was totally accidental, and yet we were enjoying the hell out of it. Going, this is bad, because it was really an awful presentation by this theist. He just didn't know the arguments, and Arn was really running circles around him. But he had no idea that it was live. But see, I got a notification of that. I got a weird notification at 3 o'clock in the morning going, "Hey, Arn and Ross live." Okay, shit, check it out. You know.
And then the next day I was unsubbed. It was so weird because I had a notification for that. And then the next day I was unsubbed from Aaron. It was just the strangest thing. And the only reason I got a notification for this Hangout, Steve, was because I was watching the Von Helton one from yesterday. I was already on your channel, so it sent me the notification.
Hey, is he still focusing on running for state senator of Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, he is.
Yeah, I've never been. I don't think I've been unsubbed. I generally know who I sub to, but even with the notifications, I have the little bell checked. I still didn't get one from KC, and I think it has to do with the frequency that you put out videos. If you put a video on it like once every 2 weeks, I think you're okay. But anything more than that, YouTube doesn't promote your shit any longer. And
so I'm looking at the video. It was 17 hours ago. Yeah, I'm still subbed to him and still getting notifications. So yeah, I didn't have the same problem, but
like this one, people. I mean, I have 2,300 subs. Most of them are well. Most of the last 500 are really new, obviously, but people have been subbed to me for many years. I put out a video every couple weeks, or I mean, 2-3 times every week. So they all should be getting notifications, and yet still I even have people say, I had no idea you were having this particular Hangout. How did I miss this? You know?
Yeah. So, Vaughn, if you're watching, dear, it's not just you.
No, I think you recognize that. No, I think he realized that.
That's one of the things he says. It's just him, and it's like people are like, no, it's happened to Aaron Ra. It's happened to all these other people who are much larger channels than yours. So yeah, it's YouTube hits everybody the same way.
Which still is, it's hard to define what's causing the issues, though. You know, but see, like last night, okay, like it went like in my live chat, like Haunt Slash says, the Hangout last night was epic. That generally is the response I'm getting. People really liked that Hangout last night because they haven't heard.
I think you did a good job.
Thank you.
You did, Steve.
Thank you. There are a few people that hate that go, oh, well, Steve gave him too much control. Well, I had to. There was no other way around it. It was a game of negotiating. Whoa, Dave, are you fapping? Because that sounds painful. I'm not judging how you do it.
I was riding the dragon, and yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, that was my diabetic pillbox. That's all.
Oh, Steve, what are we doing on your Hangouts lately, huh?
Yeah, the general culture of my Hangouts has changed. Yeah.
It's a bunch of geriatric people now. We're just filling our pillboxes.
We've been around for so long. We're getting old. Yeah, you see my beard. You see how I've evolved, quote unquote, over the last 3 years, right?
I have not dyed my hair. Look at all the gray.
Yeah, I've actually.
I think there's still some. I think there's still some good stuff. Like last night, General Han Solo came in and presented a few peer-reviewed papers.
Yeah, shut up.
Shut up, man.
General messages me going, oh man, Richard was like pretending to be mean last night. I'm like, yeah, we noticed. Yeah. Well, okay, Apologia said YouTube dumped 500. Hang on one sec. Apologia said YouTube dumped 500 subs, 10% from me earlier this week. Scary day. Well, Apologia, that might be though. YouTube does that every so often, but that's supposedly YouTube is dumping inactive accounts, and they do it all one time, right? Like once a quarter or something like that. Then you see this huge dump. But 500, I don't think there's 500 inactive subs. I mean, you should expect to find maybe 20, I guess, but not 500. But yeah, Pseudo, welcome, buddy.
I still have a solid 50 subs.
Going back to what you were saying about Ken Hovind and finding people to debate him. This is why I still have to support that you need to arrange a debate between Ken Hovind
and Edgar
and Mr. Intelligent
Yeah,
Design.
no, I do. It's not gonna happen.
Oh God, that'd be funny.
I don't know if Ken's going to do any more debates after KC. I have no idea.
Well, it can be done. It can be done like through Google Hangouts or if anyone, because he has put that
No, but
out
you're not understanding.
No,
yeah, but
also, I'm generally opposed to debates that are just for entertainment value. Like if you're not.
No. Edgar is serious. He has a PowerPoint.
Yeah, but you guys are watching it for entertainment value, and you'd be hosting it for entertainment value, and it would just be stupid.
But here's the thing. I know Kent and his secretary, they want people to go to his channel, but that's not happening. They're realizing that the only people going to his channels are just, and I hate to say the word nobodies, but just nobody that knows who they are. Okay, we're nobodies too, but people generally kind of maybe know. Some people know who we are on YouTube, but we're nobodies as well. Let's be honest, right? But we at least have nobodies that are smart. And we at least get people that can actually be bringing a crowd. I mean, when KC put his video up on his channel, he's got like 50,000 plus views on that, right? Kent put it on his. He's got like, I don't know, 15, 20,000 views on it, right? And I'm over 15 now. So that meant that people were watching this. That's what they want. And he realizes he can't get that unless he comes to our playground. This is why I was very proud of General Han Solo. General Han Solo said, well, Steve, I'm thinking about going on his channel to have this. And I told him, I said, that's not a good idea. That loses our empowerment to have it on our channels. And I just said, let me handle this. Just hold tight. And he did. And eventually Kent capitulated and allowed the debate to take place on Richard's channel, or was it General? It was General Han's channel, and Richard was moderating.
No, it was General's, and he messaged me like 10 minutes prior, and he was like, "Hey, you want to come and moderate the debate?"
There you go. So,
and I said, "Yeah."
So at least he listened to me, right, Richard? I mean, it was good that General Han Solo took my advice, and I knew what I was doing. I was like, let's hold off, and it worked out for the best because I think that. Had it been on Ken's channel, it would have had a lot different reception, right? We want things on our channels. That's what the whole Great Debate community is for, to build up our own channels and stuff like that. But like I said, you're always going to have some kind of hater that comes around and says, well, you're not doing this way or that way or whatever. Well, you can't please everybody. I cannot not give Von Helton mods and then have no Hangout, because that was the condition by which he would talk to the Geek Room. And of course he booted somebody. Okay, well, you know what? So what? Big deal. I mean, get over it. These guys have had many years of engagement with Von to suss this out. They've never resolved it. They will never resolve it. So
no.
Yeah, it's just,
I would
that was not the point of the Hangout.
From a first timer's view, because I didn't even know who Von Helton was till last night.
I'm so sorry we've exposed you to him. Sorry. Now you're infected.
Well, I joined this community for a reason. I want to know more. I want to have a little bit more exposure to some of the lunacy that is, out there. And that's part of it. And, some of the people he booted, I would honestly say they kind of came in with a chip on their shoulder, and they didn't,
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Dave.
The whole point of it is to have a debate. Is if you're going to sit there and have a debate, you can't. You're being emotional about it. Yeah, of course, there's going to be emotions when children are involved, which is what a lot of that was about last night. It's like, oh, come on, it's his personal life. But at the same time, they kept saying, well, he puts it out there, and to that extent, I agree. And it's like, well,
I don't know. If somebody were to write like a long Facebook post about their family or something, you wouldn't interrogate them about it or start a debate with them. I think the whole thing, even though he does put it out there, I do think it would be a lot of it's just not anybody's business unless he directly tells you about it. Like there are random people on the internet who are interrogating you about your family. Like it just doesn't. Well,
there is some concern to be had. I mean, I know the stories. I've seen the pictures. I mean, the squalor that the kids. Yeah, I mean, I understand people are legitimately concerned. However, this was an opportunity last night to have a discussion, right? A discussion,
right? And they did. they squandered it too, and they
think
triggered
you're right.
him, and they knew they were going to trigger him by what they did. And
right.
There was no other result that could have happened with the way they were acting. So.
Yeah, I totally agree with you because you know they brought this stuff many times. You don't get an opportunity to have a sit down like this with somebody like Von Helton often. I can. Von Helton's not going to boot me. I can go to his room anytime. We get along. But you know, for them to this, I think you're right. They squandered this because they wanted to make it personal rather than really just have a conversation like the Geek Room wanted to have. And I think the Geek Room did amazing. I think the Geek Room, you know, they at first there was a little heated stuff. I get that. Tensions are high, emotions run. But then after, you know, like Brand calmed everybody down, I think the Geek Room did an exceptional job at
absolutely
civility with him.
I was actually really impressed with those guys at first. But then, you know, then people like Tiffany started coming in and it was like, whoa, you know, what are you doing?
Yeah, because there's a lot of negativity there, and I'm not faulting Tiff at all, or secular opinion. I've known secular for a long time. I understand there's a lot of reasons why they you know have a lot of hatred toward Vaughn and worry for some of them kids. I get it, but again, there's certain times you just need to take a step back and say, what's going to be more productive here? You know,
right?
And beating a dead horse. I mean, he's not listening, and he's not going to listen. He probably doesn't think he's doing anything wrong. And, you know, when you've got somebody at that point, they're not going to pay attention to anything you say. I was married to a person like that.
We all know people like that. I mean, you know what's so funny, though? He can see it in people like G-Man. He's able to see it and recognize it in like G-Man, but he doesn't see it himself. That's what's kind of strange. Because he knows G-Man's game. He actually agrees. You can see when G-Man turns that light off, it just is not paying attention anymore. Random Ron is in the live chat. He liked to hang out last night.
Exactly the same thing. You can see Von Helton do exactly the same thing he was accusing of G-Man of doing.
Yeah, if he doesn't notice it himself, right? But Random Ron, you liked the video last night. He left a nice comment saying like this was the greatest Von Helton hangout of all time or something like that. It was. I missed like a large chunk, like 40 minutes, because I had to go. What happened during that 40 minutes? I haven't watched it yet. Anything? People remember?
Actually, yeah, there were a few times when. Okay, this would kind of go back to this idea of the. I'm hearing an echo. It's kind of distracting.
I think it's Christina and her dragon. She's riding that dragon. I muted you. Oh, it's David. No, I don't know who it is. No, there, it's gone now. Go ahead. Sorry, Christina. Look at her. Look at that smile.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Richard, are you frozen or are you just stunned? Oh, there you are. No, I can't hear you.
All right, am I not coming through?
Now you're coming through.
Oh. So you didn't hear anything I just said?
No.
No.
Oh.
Sorry. Can you repeat it? We didn't hear it, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, my mistake. So I think a lot of it comes down to this. It's like you have Vaughn, who's the bad guy, and there's no nuance or black and white or anything like that. So while you were gone, there were times when I was responding to Vaughn kind of positively, almost like I'm taking his side, and people are responding like, "Oh, what's up with this guy? What, he's taking his side?" Then later, I say something that kind of challenges Vaughn, and they're like, now he's catching up to the narrative. But really, I'm just responding to what's in front of me, and I think thinking about it like a narrative is kind of what fuels some of the haters, and I think that's the kind of mindset that we should avoid.
And you never heard of Vaughn until last night, right?
Yeah, no, I'd never even heard of him.
Right, and it was like I was like, you know, Richard's just talking to him like a person, like I would if I was in there doing the same thing.
And that's kind of what I was going for. That's kind of what I was going for, David.
There was times.
Go ahead. Sorry.
There was times when I was just like, dude, you guys, let the guy talk. Shut up for a second. But then Vaughn doesn't really shut up, so that's another problem.
Yeah, you have to interject with Vaughn every so often, or he will, you know, like ramble on. But no, I like the Geek Room's way of interacting with him, and I think that the other people came in hot and heavy. They had that chip on their shoulder, and I get that. But that was not the intent of the Hangout. That's what we wanted to avoid, because Vaughn had said, you know, if I do this, I know what it's going to be like. There's a lot of haters coming in, and you know, it's going to be a shit show, blah blah blah. And I said, look, I think you're right, but I tell you what, I'm going to give you mods. I'll give you empowerment. He asked for the mods first, but I said, I'll give you the mods. You will be able to eject anybody you want. Obviously, not me, but you can eject anybody you want. You have full control. And I think that was the best course of action, because one, you know, gave him the empowerment. He could decide who he wanted to talk to and not. What's the big deal about that? It was better than nothing. If I didn't give him mods, he would have never even came in, and we would not have had 4 hours of really good Hangout. I enjoyed it. I thought it was entertaining. You're muted, Christina. See, I paid attention.
Said there was a lot of people watching what was you know, the Hangout.
150 people we had watching last night.
I would have gotten in last night, but I went out with hubby and, you know, decided to spend time with that man instead of Vaughn. So, but oh yeah, we had date night, and so I missed most of it. So I was watching it today, and it had quite a few views even. So it was good for the channel on top of it.
Yeah, but, well, one sec. I gotta say for a fact. I
wish he would just sit and listen. You know.
He won't. But this was not for my channel, to be honest with you. This was for the Geek Room. I would have had it on any other channel if I could have. Blah blah blah. It's not a huge thing, but I wanted to do that favor for the Geek Room more than anything. And I was actually surprised how many people did watch it. I mean, it's up to, I don't know what, well over 1,200, 1,500, 2,000. I don't know what, it's somewhere in that ballpark. But you know, we had 100 people watching live. That's pretty good for a Hangout at 3 o'clock in the morning my time, or whatever it was, like midnight my time, or it was late last night. I don't get those kind of views unless it's really midday, like on a Monday at like 11 o'clock. I can have like 150 people watching, but 2 o'clock in the morning, yeah, that's pretty impressive.
That was a lot.
I mean, like right now we only have 50 people watching, 46 people watching. That's for my Sunday shows. It could be varied. Like I'll get 50 if I do it at 2 o'clock, but if I do it at 11 o'clock, I'll pull in maybe 80 to 100. But I think a lot of people watch, like the Atheist Experience is on right now. So it varies, right? There's a lot of factors that go in of how many people are going to watch at a specific time. I can look at my demographics. My demographics is primarily men ages 28 to 44. That's my demographic. And then there's obviously some older ones, and then some younger ones. But if you look at it breaks it down. It shows you. So that's my primary demographic. And it's also America. America puts 48% is my demographic is from America. So half.
Steve, I have a question. Were you surprised that he said that marijuana cured things yesterday?
Yeah, I was. Although I didn't want to go into that because that would have been a rabbit hole. We have physicians in live chat. From my understanding, like marijuana doesn't cure anything. It's just what it does. It alleviates the side effects from things like chemotherapy and radiation therapy. Although certain things like cannabis oil has been known to shrink tumors, it's only like it doesn't decrease the tumor's potency, though. It doesn't like cure the cancer. It just shrinks it. It could be just dehydrating. I don't know. I know you can shrink tumors by moving water, but
that's what I was going to say. Was they're experimenting with dehydration right now.
Yeah, but that just shrinks the tumor, but the tumor's still cancerous. It still can metastasize, right?
Yeah. No, I fully understand. You still need treatment.
Yeah, I have never read anything that.
It can't help.
Yeah, I've never read anything smoking joints cures anything. I've never read that from anything, right?
No, it's definitely not smoking. It's one of the things that I've been trying to find reports about. I can find things in like local newspapers around Seattle and stuff like that about it, but I haven't been able to find any good papers or sources about it. But they're reporting that scientists in the local area are injecting THC oil into tumors to treat the tumor and to hydrate it, you still need chemo and all those other things, but THC itself is being tested as a treatment for the large body instead of using ethanol, which is more harmful to the body.
Yeah, no, I've heard something along those lines.
Apparently, the oil can be taken in better than ethanol.
Right.
I inject THC in it. You're probably starving it because it gets the munchies.
It gets the munchies. Well, but here's the thing. You know, I think a lot of people are disingenuous in the whole medical marijuana thing, because I think that I know a lot of pot users in my day. I don't think any of them really are that concerned about uses of hemp for paper or uses for marijuana for medical. I think they just want to smoke pot, and they're going to use anything to help. And this was back before it was legal. That anything that would add a reason to legalize pot. Now that pot's legal in almost everywhere, I don't see this push for this anymore. I don't see people talking about, oh, look at all these things for marijuana. It heals this, it cures this. I don't see that as much because now it's legalized. People can go buy it any fucking place they want. I mean, there's dispensaries popping up everywhere.
To be honest,
I wish there was in Minnesota.
You don't see as many people complaining about it. I will agree with that, but
I agree. The problem is there's not a lot of people that are willing to take the time to do research as to the actual medical effects. They just like what Steve said. They just want to get high.
Right.
In Colorado, they have rec use. In Colorado Springs, the city decided, well, we're not going to have rec use. So it's the one place in the state where you actually have to go to, like Manitou or another part of the city to actually go get weed. And it's like, well, there goes and gets the red card, gets the medical stuff, because it's just an easier way to get it. You don't have to go outside the city at that point. You could just use your red card.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
you go in there, and I had a red card, and I used it because I wanted to get Charlotte's Web, and Charlotte's Web is for epilepsy, and I'm an epileptic. I was actually interested in it for the medical, and Charlotte's Web does not get you high in any sense of the word. It literally it's CBD.
You're not directly smoking Charlotte's Web, right?
Absolutely not. It is a oral tincture, basically. It is
okay.
Take it
just trying to make sure, because that would be. See, when people are going in there, I mean, I had a twitching disorder and I couldn't really afford the edibles, so I kind of had to get what THC I could when my twitching was at its worst points. But basically, I had to have THC every day, all the time in my system to not twitch. But
THC is not the same thing. Oh yeah, CBD is not, and THC are two different cannabinoids. They're different. They do different things in your body, and that's the thing. There's people that study that, and then there's people that go and sell it, and there's a huge disconnect between the two things.
Well, the point being though, I think, like I said, most people just wanted to get high. I do believe that.
Exactly.
I believe it's great for pain management. Yes, absolutely. But that's not curing anything, right? That's managing pain. That's managing side effects. And I'm fine with that. And again, I'm totally pro legalization of marijuana. But most places that don't even have it legalized, Lou pointed out that 4 states have it legalized. California is legalized, but most places, they don't give a shit if you have less than a certain amount. Okay, most places in the United States, if you're less than a joint or something like that, they don't even bother with that, right? So it may not be legal, but people that can go smoke it if they want to, and they're not going to get harassed. You don't see people being arrested for a joint like you did 20 years ago, right? So there's not a big.
That's because they were practicing. That's because they were practicing the broken window theory. We could see that reemerge.
Refresh my memory.
The broken window theory. It's this idea that if you arrest like dime baggers, then you will deter drug use in the future. So they'll go after people who do have like a joint, because they think that it'll prevent them from using in the long term.
I think that has the opposite effect. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It reinforces criminal lifestyle.
Yeah. I mean, and so like I said, I'm totally pro marijuana for people that want to smoke it, but I just think a lot of people were disingenuous by saying, "Oh, look at these great uses for pot." Making paper. I don't think people give a shit about that. So.
Oh yeah. Pretty much, if anyone's going and you can smoke it, right? And they're not talking about like taking the oil in, and they're talking about taking the carbon. They're not talking about medical use.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
When people say, "Oh, this is a treatment for cancer," and I see them lighting up a fucking joint.
Yeah, my ex is like that. She was like that.
The only caveat to that I would put out there is in the case of hospice, when somebody knows that that they're going to die, like they're in a stage 4 type of cancer situation, then by all means let them smoke, let them get high, let them feel the pain however they want.
Sure, I don't care.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I do. I am
too.
But
if I saw a stage 1, cancer patient with a joint, I'd straight rip it out of their hand and say, "Come here, you're going to try something better. It'll help you a little better."
But anyways,
try edibles.
Let's move it back. Let's move it back to the original discussion. Yeah. So like I said, I didn't want to go down that route with Vaughn when he mentioned that last night for this very reason, because obviously we spent 15 minutes talking about this. It would have distracted from the whole other conversation going on with Vaughn. Vaughn will occasionally say stuff like that. You just have to pass it up. You can't jump on everything he says, because we know everything he says is wrong. I'm sorry, Vaughn, if you're listening. Everything you say is wrong. You know that. I believe you're wrong on everything. I know you're wrong on everything. But that's demonstrable, right? I mean, look how long it just took us to explain to him, things like theory, and he's like, "Oh, well, science changes the word." This is how his brain thinks, right? It literally does. I mean, he's not making this stuff up. He believes his stuff. You know that, right?
The molten core causes gravity, Richard.
Molten core causes gravity. Yeah, George loved that one.
I actually have a peer-reviewed paper from 2016. I can send you guys to my Google Drive if you'd like.
Yeah, Steve, it's not just Vaughn. Why I jumped in on that one is because I've been hearing this for many months from a lot of the flat earthers, and I just wanted to get it out there so that everybody starts jumping on to the same page in terms of trying to explain to a lot of these lay people what we mean by theory in the scientific world, because you're starting to hear this stuff from the flat earthers. Well, gravity is just a theory. Well, using it in the sense that theory is conjecturing that there might be something there or might not be something there. They don't understand that gravity is a fact. Scientists know it's real, and theory, in the sense that we're using it, is explaining the nature and describing what gravity is. It's not a conjecture as to whether or not it exists, and that's how they're trying to use it, is, well, it's just a theory. It might or might not be real. No, it is real. Theory just explains or attempts to explain what it is in its nature.
Now, but you're not surprised by Von Helton doing that, right? I mean, you've known who Von Helton was, so I mean, are you really so shocked by this level of?
No, I wasn't shocked. I wanted to get it in there so that maybe he starts understanding, and the people on the sidelines start understanding what we mean by theory. The theory of gravity is not a supposition as to whether or not it exists.
Okay, can I ask something? I am kind of a layperson, but doesn't the theory of gravity propose that there is a graviton or
the force carrier?
That's one
like
of,
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a force carrier. It's a force carrier.
An exchange particle.
Yeah.
Eventually we might find that, but I don't think finding it is required for the theory to be true.
It's not.
I'm just...
Gauge theory. Okay, graviton has to do more with gauge theory and symmetry, with the particle physics, right? In order to have, we've seen everything we've seen has a force, has an intermediate vector boson or something attached to it. That's a force carrier, right? And so
there's a particle that acts like a wave and that acts like a particle all at the same time. Photon being light, for example.
Well, I mean, like the weak forces carried by
down that road. What I think is the important thing is trying to get the word out there that theory, the way we use it in science and mathematics, is not in the sense that the lay tends to use it. Well, that's just like in law or something, a theory of law, which is one way of or a theory of a murder, is, well, it may have occurred this way or may not. And that's not how we're using it. We know there are gravitational forces. We know the effect of gravity. We have Newton's law, force law, that tells us, that the mutual force of attraction between two masses is the product of the masses times the gravitational constant divided by the separation distance squared, inverse square law. We know that. And we've tested it. In fact, we can even, I can give you a very easy conceptual geometric explanation as to why that is self-evident. So it's not a matter of question as to whether or not there's gravity or gravity exists. The theory is just describing and trying to come up with a model and description of what we experience. And that's what I'm trying to get out there to these people, is they're not viewing or using the word theory as we use it in science and mathematics.
They don't care. They're not even lay people. They're just idiots. And so this is the level they understand. They only understand a kindergarten level. Anything above that, they're lost.
That, but unfortunately, science and scientists have been their own worst enemies in explaining.
Oh, I agree with you on that.
The lay or the masses out there what science is all about.
I do agree.
They start hearing things about flat Earth or whatever, and they just turn away from it. They don't even give it a second thought, and it's beyond their wanting to deal with it.
Well, that's why I've said, though, if you don't confront these things, what?
Sometimes, George, you can't deal with it.
Well, you don't let it fester.
You're going to waste.
I know.
Hold on. You're going to waste.
I've been doing it for well over a year. This isn't my first rodeo.
All right, you're going to waste so much of your time. Let's just say, as a scientist, trying to explain this stuff to people who are just basically dense and will never listen to what you're having to say.
No, I understand. There's, you've got Goldbusters, you got Antonio. I mean, these people are just beyond stupid. You know?
And it's not just one person. Pseudo, I'm getting an echo through you. It's not just one person. It's an effort by everybody. One person can't change everything, right? But you do have people out there. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson, he'll attack flat Earth models and he'll talk about it. But I think that every scientist at some point should get involved and put it out there that what a theory is, or talk about this stuff. We need to make sure that this bullshit stays out of our educational system. This is why I highly want like people like Arn Ra in office. Even though we may have a little philosophical disagreements scientifically, and what he wants for to get creation about a school, I support 1,000%. Yes, I know it's more than 100%, Steve. Yeah, but whatever. It's hyperbole. The dumbasses don't understand what hyperbole is. It's G-Man, if you're listening, it's never mind. We'll explain to you hyperbole later. There's
another one of those words, Stephen. You can't.
I know. So I want to make sure that creationism stays out of school, and that's what my whole gist is, right? If you want to believe what you want to believe, I don't care. Keep it out of our education, and we need a fight. We need everybody involved. From the local level to as high as you can go, to make sure that we do not have shit taught in our school like creationism or intelligent design, because that is where the problems are. That is the bullshit.
I agree with you, Steve, 100%. And the most effective way of doing it is at the local level, at the school board level.
Yes.
Make sure that you don't have these crazies having your high school or elementary programs adopting some books that pervert and twist what real scientific findings are.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's why we have the Great Debate Community discussions. So we show people how to maybe become better at arguing against things like intelligent design and against the creationism. I think people have learned that how to better have arguments against these things by watching the people in the Great Debate Community.
One of the things my husband showed me just this morning is the channel, what is it? The Sci Channel, I think is what it is. And they had a thing about dealing with anti-vaxxers. And they went into why the people have this magical thinking and start going into the anti-vaxxing to begin with. And you're dealing with, and I mean, I'm Wiccan. I've got my own magical thinking, but so I'm not putting that there, but it's so firmly believed by these people, and it's hard to get past these beliefs. Now, what they're trying to do is figure out why people like Eric Dubay and David Avocado Wolf and all of these have such an impact on the people that have become anti-vaxxers. So the same thing, Eric Dubay and David Icke and all this who are pushing flat Earth have the same impact on the people who believe in the flat Earth. What is causing them to get in these people's heads and give them these ideas that they're correct and all of science is wrong?
I think a lot of it has to do with echo chambers. They set up these echo chambers and they invite people into them with them, literally. And they don't allow anyone outside to debate them. Like, literally, you can't come and have a conversation with them.
And when they do, they just shut you down. They talk over you. They mute you. You know, they run a whole power game. But that's, again, I think those channels are not getting as watched as they used to. I've followed the trend. Those channels used to get about 150.
No, they're losing ground.
Yeah, losing ground. I used to get 150, 300 viewers. Go look at Poncho Pete. He has like 12 to 25 now. ODD has, maybe still has about 100, but they are losing ground. People are not just sitting there talking about flat Earth as much. How many times can you do it? It gets boring. But I am gonna not keep this open much longer. Richard is gonna have his hangout on the Great Debate Community channel in probably, I don't know, I'll give this another 5 to 10 minutes or so. But I'm going to announce that. So if you haven't subscribed to the Great Debate Community channel, go do that. If not, it'll be posted in the Great Debate Community. But I was saying before, though, real quick, that I think people, like I said, have learned a lot from the people that come into the Great Debate Community and talk about these topics. You can go to great channels and watch videos. For example, like you can learn a lot from Kuha Logic or Potola 54, King Crocoduck, Aaron Raw, all these Logic. All these guys have great fucking videos. They're high end. They're professional video people. I get that. But one thing they seem to lack, or at least maybe some of them are getting into it, but they don't have a lot of discussions on these topics, right? Arn occasionally does. Arn has his discussions, but for the most part, a lot of the people that make videos don't have a place where they actually have discussions. This is the place where people can discuss those topics, right? So if you want to watch those videos and discuss whether they're good arguments or bad arguments, these are the places to go. The Great Debate Community or hangouts like maybe like Hubby Zuby's Zoo, which she hasn't had in a while, but to talk about philosophy, or Helen Handbasket, she's talking about philosophy. She's having a hangout coming up on the theory of labor between Jack Ainstrike and I can't remember the other guy's name. That a person that's teaming up with King Crocoduck that he shouted out the other day. I can't remember his name, but these are the places to go, and so. That's the momentum that I want to keep going, because I think that people do watch this stuff. They do learn some stuff. I think George's presentations are amazing. If you haven't seen George's, go to George's channel. Oh my God, he can blow you away what he can do with a blackboard and a marking pen. But you've taught this stuff, right, George?
Thanks.
Yeah.
I just want to ask. I heard Christine earlier mention something about Minnesota. Are you in Minnesota, Christine?
Yes, I am.
Oh, where?
I'm actually not that far from where PZ Meyer works.
Nice.
Well, I'm in International Falls.
Oh, cool.
Where are you?
That's cool. Yeah, I'm in Minneapolis.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, and my docs are out there. I have a store on Etsy. My real name's out there, so I don't care. You know, people can already find out where I live. So just got to put that out there.
Me too.
Yeah, but yeah, you know, I'm on Google Plus and I'm in the Great Debate community. So if you want to get a hold of me, and maybe at some point we can just sit, you know, meet for coffee and
Well, we have, unfortunately, a very embarrassing situation. Maybe you're aware of Authentic Intent. He's been cruising around Nicollet Mall and around the Excel Energy Center and others doing live streaming, promoting the flat Earth.
You're kidding. That's where he's been doing all of that?
Yeah.
I want to do live streaming remotes. I would love to do that on the street stuff. I would be so down for that.
This guy is a real whack job.
So if I go to the Mall of America, I have to make sure to have one of my dragons on my shoulder, wear my pentacle, dress all witchy, and...
I don't think he's been to the Mall of America. I know for sure he's been around Lake Calhoun, around the Energy Center and the Twin Stadium. That's where he's been lately. And
that's Authentic Contempt, you said?
He goes by the name of Authentic Intent.
Intent. Okay.
Intent.
Yeah. I've seen clips on cringe videos, but not actually him. So I'll have to look that up.
If your dragon catches him, drag him down to Lane Pontchartrain and show him the towers.
But he's a real embarrassment.
Right down my neck of the words.
Well, go find him and do a live feed. And if anybody wants to move down to my area near Menifee, let me know. And like I said, I want to do some live feeds. I think it'd be awesome. I don't mind embarrassing myself. So I would love to do that. I also like to do more explanation videos. Like I watched George do his stuff, and I remember the days where I had to go on a blackboard and explain certain things. Like when I was in nuke school, you have to do that. Or you know, even when I was in retail, I did all the training for the people, the new hires, right? I did all the training for years. And so I have a big old long presentation that I have to do, and it's all on the blackboard and stuff like that. But in the Navy, you know, same thing. You know, if I want to explain how something worked in the reactor, here's all the formulas, blah, blah, blah. I kind of miss that. I'm envious of George because he could do it so easily. But there's something nice to say when you're up there going, okay, let me explain to you something, and being able to do it, and people watching and learning. I actually enjoyed that, and I miss that. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe I'll start doing some more videos.
Have you heard of? Sorry.
Oh, one last thing before I leave. Steve, last night after we left our Japanese friend.
Yep.
I finally did kind of figure out where he was coming from on this, and I excuse me, this will just take a minute. So that Steve will know how to encounter him in the future. But anyway, I walked him back on the gravity thing, and I said, all right, let's suppose we have a universe devoid of mass. And now we're going to take, say, a kilogram sphere of steel and inject it in space. There's no other masses around. What will happen? Will that sphere move? No, it won't. Okay, we're agreed on that point. Now, let's take two spherical spheres, 1 kilogram apiece, of steel balls, separate them by 1 meter. There's only out there, no other objects. Now what will happen? According to Newton's force law, force of attraction, and they'll eventually start moving together. And then as they get together, closer together, you have the 1/r² law. The forces get stronger. They're going to start accelerating towards one another. Well, according to him, no, can't happen. They'll just sit there because there's no third mass to create a gravitational field to push them together.
There's no third field to push them together?
What?
Yeah, that's it. You had to have a third massive body in there, like you have the Earth-Moon system, we have the sun. Apparently, according to the way he's construing all this stuff, is that two masses isolated in space can't move, can't have any, there are no mutual forces of attraction. There has to be some other third body out there to create a field to push them together. So, you know, it's pretty bonkers.
So he's way, yeah, he's
aren't there rogue planets that have moons?
Yeah, but I mean, he's potato. Let's just call it what it is. He's potato.
Yeah. But anyway, what I told him is, what I wanted him to do is to give me a link to this macaco video that he's quoting. And this is what happens a lot of times with these guys that appeal to authority for their arguments. They're saying, look, I want to see the video before I continue discussing with you, because I want to know whether or not you misinterpreted what
I've seen the video.
Was trying to say. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen the video. Have you seen the video?
But I haven't.
Okay, I've seen the video.
No, I haven't.
He's not really misinterpreting Makaku. Makaku is just being very, very sloppy in his speech. Because he's, you know, Mikaku is a person who goes out there among colloquial people, right? He's talking about to lay people at the time, sure. And so he's just explaining this in a way for them to understand it. It was not in a scientific setting or anything like that. He was just very, very sloppy in his speech, I think. And somebody who, because he did say gravity would push this down or something like that. It was just something that he shouldn't have said. He was wrong on it. I'm sure he recognizes he was wrong, but of course, you know, it is, like you said, it's an appeal to authority rather than an understanding of why what he said was not scientifically correct, and he was just sloppy. That's it. And people are sloppy. It's not perfect.
Yeah, and that's what happens with a lot of these flat earthers too. They'll find one video or one statement that goes contrary other bodies of work out there, and they'll just focus on that one as their proof, you know.
Yeah, I think Mikaki basically he screwed up by not clarifying it after people had noting it. I don't think he's ever, you know, gone back and corrected that, which I think is his biggest mistake. But like I said, you know, people do make mistakes, and him not having any background in any of this, because I'm sorry, he's not a civil engineer. You know as well as I do, George, there's no fucking way he's taking any science courses or math courses. Seriously, George, you have a background in physics.
No, I got that out of him. I found that he has very weak background in mathematics, and he totally does not understanding anything about Einstein's gravitational field equation.
But you have a background in physics and math. So let me ask you. If you claim to be a civil engineer and I ask you a question like what's the derivative of x squared, no matter how long you've been out of school, don't you think that a civil engineer should know something basic like that?
Beyond a doubt.
Yeah. Or what Pythagoras theorem is?
Beyond a doubt.
Yeah. Or how about this? A little more technical. But don't you think a civil engineer was to know something like a Hooke's law or Young's modulus? They would be familiar with those things?
Yeah, well, at least at Michigan Tech, where I went, I was in those courses with civil engineers, all engineering.
It's required for
generally
them to know.
In the first 2 years, whether you're electrical engineer, mechanical, civil, you're required to take like mechanics of materials, statics, dynamics.
In the Navy,
physics,
it's required.
Chemistry.
Yeah, in the Navy, you know, we took mechanical theory, we took heat transfer, fluid theory, heat transfer. I mean, the whole 9 yards. And you know, even we had to learn things like Hooke's law and Young's and the moduluses. We had to like metallurgy, right? Because we're working with different types of metals. We have to know how they interact with each other, right? How different things heat up differently, brittle fracture. We had to learn all this stuff. If he's a civil engineer, I know he has to learn this stuff because the courses we took were only the highest level was about 300 level in college, which is third year. One course was 400 level. I found out was on scientific instrumentation, but whatever. But I know if somebody, again, I don't have to be a civil engineer to know that they have to know this stuff because I've had courses that require some kind of knowledge of this, and I'm not a civil engineer, so if I had to take it, I know the hell they had to.
Yes.
Right. If it's the general course for everybody to take it, like I had to take it as a computer engineer, and it has nothing to do with what I do, and there you go.
But you still have to take certain
basic core courses that you have to have in your first 2 years.
Exactly.
I had to take electrical theory, even though I was a mechanic.
Yeah, I think my daughter, she's at Michigan Tech, and she just got done with electrical theory her first year there. So
Yeah, there's like you said, there's stuff that everybody has to kind of have a general, to take in general courses. But you cannot have a civil engineer says, "Oh well, yeah, I didn't have to take calculus." What? No. I mean, come on.
Of course, it's civil engineering.
I was a science major. I took 3 years of
there's
calc.
no way that could be true, because as a civil engineer, you would have had a full year of calculus, probably even 2 years.
Oh, I think it's more than that. You have to have a lot. I mean, I have a friend who's majoring in math right now, and he's taking multivariable PDs, and I mean,
because when I went to Michigan Tech, all engineering and physics students were required to take 2 years of calculus. We had mechanics of materials. We had to take statics and dynamics. And then the civil engineers had to have more advanced courses in statics and dynamics. Everybody had, at least at the sophomore level, statics and dynamics. But then after the second year, then you'd go into your respective areas of concentration. Your degree program as electrical engineer, you'd be taking more advanced circuit theory and electronics courses from all the other engineering students. And if you were in civil engineering and mechanical engineering, you'd be taking more advanced courses in statics and dynamics beyond the sophomore level. And so at a bare minimum, they'd have the same core courses as I did in all these various areas.
I agree. But Richard does want to start his Hangout, so I am going to bring this to a close. By the way, Tiffany...
And what was that live guy's name again? Something intent? I forgot to write down the first...
Authentic intent.
Okay, thank you.
Tiffany, who was talking last night on the, I'm sorry, Tiffany, you got kicked out last night. I tried to get you back in, you wouldn't have it. But if you would have came in earlier, we could have discussed, what was some of the things you wanted to bring up to Vaughn. But she says, great job last night, Steve. Thank you. Look, I did what I had to do to get Vaughn there. I had to give him the controls, I gave him the mods, but. It is what it is. The people that are trying to say that I was coddling Vaughn, or that I was siding with Vaughn, they can fuck off. Seriously, they can just fuck off, because that's just ridiculous. Everybody who knows me for the last couple of years knows that I would never side on Vaughn on any of his bullshit. But I've always had a rapport with him. Somebody has to, because if you don't have at least one person that can have a rapport with somebody and put their things to the side, you can never have a dialogue with these people, and you never get anywhere. So I got to be that neutral party when it comes to that, as far as being able to have discussions. It doesn't mean I have to agree with him, right? I don't agree with him. Even he recognized I don't agree with him. But I have to at least try to be civil. And if we're going to have somebody, at least in the Great Debate community, that can try to negotiate with these people, I'm the one volunteering to do it. And I was like that with all of them. I've done it with G-Man and True Pearson, but of course they don't want any kind of negotiations. They don't want to bother, because they want their channels to just fall away and die. Look at True Pearson's channel; it's gone to shit. I think his last video had like 14 views. So I mean, they do this themselves, but I'm always willing to have a dialogue, right? If G-Man wants to come on, okay, I talk to him. Maybe if Darwin's Deity or True Pearson want to come on, okay, great. I'm willing to have those discussions, right? And if other people have issues with that,
excuse me a second.
Yeah, go ahead, George.
Steve. Christine, do you have the group chat up?
No, just a second. Let me get on my phone. I'm on my tablet on the Hangout. So,
okay. Well, I'm posting a link. Authentic Intent is live right at the moment.
Okay, I need the link for your channel too. So, Steve, don't close yet. Let me get in the.
All right. Well, I'm doing that.
I just posted it to the group chat for you.
I put in the link to the Great Debate Community Watch channel. Richard's having a hangout on presuppositionism. Should Christians use it? I think he's taking. I'm sure he's taking the no, they should not. Well, no, maybe not. I don't know what the hell he thinks on it. Yeah, I think he's saying it's not. But yeah, I think presuppositionism is bullshit. I think it's ridiculous. I love pointing it out that presuppositionism is crap. So when precepts come in, I'll be happy to destroy them and let other people destroy them. But anyways, that's the extent of what I wanted to go into as far as haters hating. Look, we had no choice but to capitulate and to give him certain concessions. But if you want Von Helton to go to your channel, you give him any, you do what you got to do to get him on your channel if you want to have a discussion with him. But I guarantee it, he would never have talked to the Geek Room if not had I arranged it the way I did. And I'm very satisfied
okay, I'm
with
not
that.
finding the link, George, on your channel or
Are
the
you
one
on
that.
the group chat or the live chat? Are you on group chat?
Oh, the
or
live chat.
Go to the group chat.
Oh, okay. In G Plus.
Yes.
In Hangouts.
Hangouts. I'm sorry.
All right. So, anyways, I'm gonna give some of the last.
Oh, I can't on my tablet. Yeah, the tablet I don't think would let me do it.
I'll put it in the live chat for you here.
Okay.
It's just that I didn't want to give authentic intent too much exposure on it to the general, but I will.
Well, it looks like with Grampy Lobster in there and stuff, he's not going to get the views that he really would like, because there's a lot of people who flat earth it all in live chat right now.
All right.
Okay. Well, I can't post full links. I don't have a rank.
Crap. How about the Great Debate Community? Can you just put it there?
Well, I'll put it first in the Great Debate Community.
On G Plus, yeah.
Why does everyone in this guy's outside chat have a spanner?
That's how that is in flat earth things. Before I go though, Alex, I came in here. I didn't give you a chance to say anything. Do you want to add anything before I end this? You came in, but you're awfully quiet, Alec. Okay, I guess not. All right, so I'm going to end this. Thanks for watching, guys. I know this is a short Sunday show, but it is what it is. Go watch Richard's thing on presuppositionalism. It should be pretty good. I want to thank everybody who came in today and the people that watched the Von Helton Hangout last night. I'm very happy with the way it came out. I think it was very entertaining. I think that people got a good discussion with him, which was the intent. Anybody can go have a hangout with somebody and have Von Helton come in. It could be a complete shit fest, and everybody just screaming and yelling. That didn't happen, and I'm proud of that. So I stand by the decision I made, and it was awesome. But anyways, I'm going to give somebody the last word. David, you get the last word. Take us out, buddy.
Well, that's a tough one. Not really sure what to say, other than just remember that when you do come in and talk to people, even if you don't like them, remember they're still people.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Grampy Lobster. He says, this is why I stay the fuck out of the great community. Fuck Vaughn. But you know what? Grampy Lobster is still watching. Love you, baby. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you later on.